Hello and welcome to Quarterlight, your car brochure channel. Today we're looking at the Volvo 760. Welcome back to Quarterlight, and Quarterlight, if you're new to the channel, we look at car brochures 3 times a week, kind of like looking down memory lane, possibly the cars you've owned in the past, or indeed the cars you remember from a child. Anyway, today's episode, the Volvo 760, first launched in Sweden in February 1982. It arrived in the UK in July. It was really there as the flagship for the Volvo range, and it was really there to replace the Volvo 200, although it kind of didn't really, because the Volvo 200 kept being sold alongside it. It was that popular a car. But anyway, today's brochure is from 1986, so let's have a look at that now. So here we have today's brochure, the Volvo 760, kind of like the car you aspire to have, the flagship. When it came out in 1982, it caused quite a stir because it was such a, almost like a European American car in many ways, a very boxy, square design. Although the Volvo 740 arrived a couple of years later as a cheaper alternative, but like I said, this was the top of the range model. As we turn the page, it does give us a little bit of a look at the Volvo range in 1986, so we'll have a little bit of a look at that now. So here it says Volvo in 1986. So 1986 sees the Volvo range wider than ever before, a range presented with the individual customer's motoring needs and budget very much in mind. The brochure deals specifically with the Volvo 760 saloons, the flagship of the Volvo range. The 760 saloon is built to limousine levels of luxury, whilst retaining all of the proven characteristics of a Volvo. Brief descriptions of other Volvo models are given below, and full details are available in separate brochures. So in 1986, we've got the 340 hatchbacks and saloons. So it says new for 86, a 1.7 litre saloon complements the 340 range. Acclaimed for its outstanding value for money, the range also offers a choice of 1.4 or 1.7 litre hatchbacks. We've also got the larger engined 360 hatchback and saloons, available with either carburetor or fuel injected 2 litre engines. The 1986 hatchbacks and saloons offer a combination of spirited performance and versatile comfort. We've also got the aging 240 saloons and estates. For those who need for a larger car, the traditional refinement, common sense design and extra space of the 1986 240 GL and GLE saloons are the ideal solution to add cavernous load carrying capacity to the equation. The 1986 240 estate offers practicality that is hard to beat. We've also got the 740 saloons, of course, incorporating the Volvo's tradition of safety, reliability and durability. The 740 saloons are the results of years of research into balancing road holding with ride comfort and performance with fuel efficiency. And we've also got the 740 and the 760 estates. The new 740 and 760 estates represent a rare blend of versatile practicality of a large estate car and the comfort of an executive saloon. Volvo's attention to detail has set a new standard for estate car motoring. And then once we pull the brochure back, we can open it up and it shows this absolutely huge picture of a 760 saloon, really showing the detail. In some ways, not as quite a square design as the 200 series. They did have a little bit of a slope on the bonnet, but still a very boxy car. He is shown in what looks like a sort of a grey metallic. There is a colour chart at the end, but Volvo had a tradition of not really naming the colours, so they just had colours like silver, dark grey, metallic. No fancy names, sadly, but that is a good picture. It really just shows the design of the car off. As we fold the brochure back again and turn the page, it's got some text talking about upholding a great tradition, new for 1986, etc, etc. So we will have a quick look at this new for 1986 because it is quite interesting and quite relevant to the brochure, but I don't want to read all this text obviously. So new for 1986, the high level of specification for which the 760 is already famous has been further improved for 1986. The electrically heated front seats now have a control allowing you to choose one of two levels of warmth to suit your preference and the severity of the weather. For additional convenience, particularly if you frequently share the driving, the 760 Turbo Automatic is now equipped with an electronically adjustable driver's seat. Simply press the appropriate switches and the seat moves into the perfect driving position. As we turn the page, we get another look at the 760, this time the GLE. We can see these nice wipers on the headlights, as well as this big chrome grille and lots of sort of chrome detail around it, really showing it as being like a flagship car, if you will. Now if we turn the page still further, this page is actually titled The Balance of Technology and Tradition. Not going to go through all this obviously, but we will pick out some of these little images. Say now for 1986, the Volvo 760 is a choice of engine and transmission variants. 760, so you'd think, you know, in the usual Volvo tradition, the 6 usually means a 6-cylinder vehicle, but you know, that is the case and it isn't the case because there's more than one engine choice, which we'll have a look at. On the images we can see everything you need within easy reach. Always a very straightforward, although always quite a boxy interior to match the boxy outside, I guess. And a little bit of a glance at the Volvo 760 instruments there. So we've got a speedometer, rev counter, and also a very large clock there as well. If we look further down, it gives us an image of one of the engines. It just quite simply see it says smooth, efficient V6 power. And there are in fact 3 engine choices at this time. So we've got a V6 fuel injected, developing 156 horsepower. So it's a 2.8 litre fuel injected engine. We've also got a turbo diesel, so a 6-cylinder turbocharged version, delivering 109 horsepower. And this kind of like the top of the range model, the turbo intercooler. So it's a 760 4-cylinder 2.3 litre turbocharged engine, producing 180 horsepower. So I always remember that was always the engine everyone used to rave about because it was this big car, but gave quite reasonably good performance with that turbo intercooler. Although strangely, this is a 760 and there is a 4-cylinder engine, but never mind. We'll gloss over that, I guess. There was also the option, you know, of an automatic transmission as well. So the 760 Turbo available with a 4-speed manual transmission with electronic overdrive. So quite an old-fashioned way of doing things, really. There's also a choice of 2 automatic gearboxes. The first is a 3-speed transmission with automatic overdrive. The second, more suited to the characteristics of the turbocharged variants, is a 4-speed gearbox, again with automatic overdrive. And finally it shows this little image of what it calls the carefully balanced chassis for exceptional handling. Okay, so that was a look at the engine and transmission choices at the time. We then have this lovely image of the interior of the 760. Like I said, everything was always very logically laid out in a Volvo, although quite angular, quite square, almost a little bit American-esque with the interior designs. And they always like to throw lots of buttons on there. This was the 80s after all, so the high-spec stereos in cars really had a lot of buttons to play around with. If we turn the page still further, it shows some of those interior features which we'll have a look at now. So in typical Volvo design, a very comfortable ergonomically designed seat. It says orthopedically designed for tireless comfort. We've got these 13 air vents, maintain the perfect climate. We've got air conditioning for all year round comfort. We've got automatic climate control, the perfect climate at your fingertips. We've got this very practical boot area, 16.76 cubic feet of luggage space, and a hatch for long articles. You can just about see the skis poking through. Car brochures always used to like skis for some reason. And what it calls a Nivomat automatic levelling suspension. Okay, so there we have some of the interior features. If we turn the page still further, we get a look at the seats, which do look very comfortable. In leather, being the flagship model, you can also see some wood in there as well. If we turn the page, we get a page referring to a sound investment, talking about comprehensive rust protection, etc. We will have a look at some of these images though. I do think this is an interesting little statement at the top here, worth reading out. According to the latest independent Swedish statistics, the life expectancy of a Volvo is estimated at 20.7 years, which is obviously a very high number, really showing that they are long-lived vehicles, and that really did prove, because there's still some of them around today. It's showing carefully manufactured for longer life, multi-stage surface treatment, this ventilated door sills, and of course we can't think about Volvo without thinking about safety, showing these impact absorbing bumpers. Okay, so let's move on. We get another nice image of this 760, this time the GLE model, showing the rear, how the badging was on that particular version. And then, of course, we had to have a page about Volvo, synonymous with safety. So let's have a quick look at some of these images. So it's showing here the energy absorbing crumple zones. A tough steel safety cage protects the occupants. And a collapsible steering column. We've also got this dual circuit triangle split braking system for safety. Okay, so let's move away from safety. We've got another lovely image, this time in gold, and I quite like them in gold. It's a very much an 80s colour, kind of like suits the car, doesn't it? And then we get to the Volvo selection, which is the accessories you could have, which are interesting, so we'll look at those period accessories. System, which certainly looks a very complicated system. I'm sure that was very expensive at the time. And this in-car entertainment, which is on something called the executive package. We can have this ambient temperature gauge, These very old-fashioned looking child car seats. Of course, the floor trays, mats, etc. Your tow bars. A burglar alarm. A first aid cushion. And these very interesting bumper stripes, or self-adhesive bumper stripes, which is a bit unusual. Although it is actually showing a 740 here. All the 760 colours were metallic. You couldn't get that flat red on a 760. We then get a page about Volvo Care, which opens up to show us the specification or standard equipment page. So we'll have a look at that now before looking at the upholstery and the different colours. Okay, so this is the standard equipment. Remember, there's 3 models of the 760, the GLE, the 760 Turbo, the 760 GLA Turbo Diesel. There's the different specifications you can see on there. Not going to read it all out, but of course you can pause the screen at any time to have a look at any of these specifications. So there's the interior colours, so grey plush, blue plush, beige plush and black leather, red leather and beige leather. I don't think I've ever seen red leather on a 760 before. And then we have, maybe just move this over a little bit, the exterior colours. So there we have black and blue metallic, silver metallic and dark grey metallic, and also what they call red wood metallic and gold metallic, and finally this blue green metallic. And at the bottom there's a little thing that says only available to special order. That's referring to the black, so the black must have been a special order colour at the time. I'm not going to read it all out, but this is the colour combinations of, you know, your plush or leather interior, according to whatever exterior colour you choose. So, for example, if you wanted that red leather, looks like you could only have it if you had dark grey metallic. We also have technical information for those 3 engine choices. Again, I'm not going to read it all out, but of course you could pause this screen if you wanted to look through all of it. Finally ending on the dimensions of the vehicle, and it's also showing there's a 12-month international warranty without mileage limitations. And then right at the very bottom there is a kind of like date stamp which says 86 on it. Okay, so that is the end of the brochure review and then the end of looking at this Volvo 760. If you've got any memories of the Volvo 760 or indeed any of the 700 series Volvos, please let me know. Always interesting to see your opinions and your personal experiences. But for now, we'll say thank you so much for watching, take care, and of course like and subscribe as well if you like, and we'll see you very soon. Goodbye.